Good morning. Today we are starting about the Newton's law of cooling. Newton's law of cooling. Now according to this, first we have to define the Newton's law of cooling. The statement or the definitions of the Newton's law of cooling can be defined as it is the rate of is the rate of the temperature. In that temperature we are taking the difference of the temperature. In the temperature we are considering one T. T means what? T is the hot temperature. And again one more we are considering the TS. TS means what? It is the surrounding temperature. T means we are considering the hot temperature and TS means it is the surrounding temperature. By using this we have to write here difference. Now in the difference we are writing T minus TS. One is your hot temperature and other one is your surrounding temperature. Just we have taken here difference. Now by using this we are writing one equation. dq by dt is directly proportional to T minus Tf. We know that dq by dt means what? It is the time. Now dq. Q means what? It is the heat. Q is the heat. At the time T we have taken. At the time T we have taken. Now let us consider dq by dt is directly proportional to T minus Tf. Now here we can write this equation as dq by dt is equal to, we are adding a constant term that is minus k into T minus Tf. Where k is the constant term. Where k we are calling as a constant term. We know that k is equal to, we are considering 4 into sigma T raised to q, or we are considering 4 into sigma into T raised to 3 at the temperature of the surrounding. Now here the negative sign indicates that there will be decrease in the time t. The negative sign indicates that there will be the difference in the time t. Now by using this we have to define the Newton's law of cooling. Now we can define here dq by dt is directly proportional to T minus Tl. Now the heat with respect to the time is directly proportional to the difference in the temperature. We can tell that the heat with respect to the time is directly proportional to the difference in the temperature or small difference in the temperature, then we can call it as Newton's law of cooling. The equation for Newton's law of cooling is dq by dt is directly proportional to T minus Tf. Therefore, k is equal to, we are taken here for sigma Ts. Ts means temperature in the surrounding raised to q. Now here sigma means it is the Stefan's law or Stefan's constant we are calling. Sigma means either we can call it as Stefan's law or Stefan's constant. Now next we have to define the Stefan's law. According to this, the Stefan's law can be written as, now let us consider the radiant energy. The radiant energy emitted per second per unit area emitted per second per unit area is directly proportional to the fourth power of the absolute temperature is called as Stefan's law, or this can be also written as, T means what? It is the radiant energy emitted per second per unit area is directly proportional to T raised to 4. That is the fourth power of the absolute temperature. This is the Stefan's law. Now in this Stefan's law we have to study the SI unit and the dimensional formula for the Stefan's law. Now next we are studying the Stefan's constant value. The Stefan's constant value is sigma. This can be denoted, Stefan's constant can be denoted as sigma. Sigma is equal to 5.67 into 10 raised to minus 8. The value of the Stefan's constant. The unit is Weber per meter square Kelvin raised to minus 4. Weber per meter square Kelvin raised to minus 4. It is the value for your Stefan constant. Now next we are studying about the Stefan-Boltzmann law. Now according to the Stefan-Boltzmann law, we are considering E. E means what? It is the radiant energy per unit area per second we have taken. E is equal to AT. Area, T means what? It is the time. Sigma means Stefan constant or the Stefan's law, and here we have taken the temperature difference, that is the temperature of a hot body and the surrounding temperature, T raised to 4 minus Ts raised to 4. Next we are studying the SI unit of the Stefan constant. The SI unit is, first we have taken the formula, E is equal to AT raised to sigma T raised to 4, small. A means area, T means time, sigma means Stefan constant, and T raised to 4 is the temperature at a hot body. Next, sigma is equal to E divided by A T raised to 4. The SI unit of the Stefan constant is joule per second per meter square Kelvin raised to minus 4. Joule per second per meter square Kelvin raised to minus 4. Or again one more is there, Weber per meter square Kelvin raised to minus 4. We can write anyone, either this or this. Next, the dimensional formula for the Stefan constant. E is equal to, first we have taken the formula A T sigma T raised to 4. Next, sigma is equal to E divided by A T raised to 4. Here we have got that answer only. By using this, just we are putting the values of all this, and from this we are finding the dimensional formula. Therefore, Stefan's law constant is equal to m raised to 1, l raised to 0, t raised to minus 3, k raised to minus 4. Where m is what? It is a mass, l is length, t means temperature, and k means it is a Kelvin. Therefore, the Stefan's law or the Stefan constant value is sigma is equal to m raised to 1, l raised to 0, t raised to minus 3, k raised to minus 4. Now next we are studying about the black body. The black body means what? It is the energy which absorbs and emits the radiation. Then we can call as the black body. Black body means what? It is the energy which absorbs and emits the radiation is called as the black body. Next one we have to study about the black body radiation. Here we are telling that the energy emitted by a black body. The energy which is emitted by a black body, then we can call it as black body radiation. Now next we have to study about the Wien displacement law. According to the Wien displacement law, the definition is the wavelength of the radiation which is corresponding to the maximum intensity and is inversely proportional to the absolute temperature of a body, then we can call it as Wien displacement law. Or this can be also given by the explanation. Now let us consider delta M. Delta M is the wavelength, okay, wavelength of a radiated energy which is having at a maximum point. We are considering at a maximum point, or the wavelength is at maximum point. Now next, lambda M is directly or inversely proportional to 1 divided by T. It is inversely proportional to the absolute temperature according to the definition of the Wien displacement law. Now next we have taken that delta M is equal to inversely proportional sign. We are taking the constant term B. B is a constant term. Now lambda M is equal to B into 1 by T, or lambda M into T is equal to B. T means what? It is the temperature in the hall. Next, the SI unit of the small b is meter Kelvin. The SI unit of the b is meter Kelvin. The value of the small b is equal to, we are considering 2.9 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter Kelvin. It is the b value. Therefore, the dimensional formula for the b is equal to, we are considering m raised to 0, l raised to 1, t raised to 0, k raised to minus 1. It is the dimensional formula for the b according to the Wien displacement law. Now next we are starting the chapter 12, thermodynamics. Thermo means what? It is the heat. Thermo means heat. Now here in this condition we have to define the thermodynamics. Thermodynamics means what? It is the branch of the physics which deals with the study of the heat. It is the branch of physics which deals with the study of the heat and the interconversion of the heat. Interconversion of heat other forms of the heat, which is converted from one form to another form of the heat, that we are calling as the thermodynamics. Thermodynamics means it is a branch of the physics which deals with the study of the heat and interconversion of the heat, or the change of the state from one state to another state of the heat is called as the thermodynamics. There are so many different definitions we have to study here. Now here we are studying the other one definition, that is your thermodynamic system. Thermodynamic system is what? It is present at the boundary. At the boundary. The energy, the heat which is present at the boundary system, we are calling it as what? Thermodynamic system. Next one, surrounding thermodynamic system. Surrounding means just we are considering the surrounding area, that we are calling as the surrounding thermodynamic system. Other one is your open thermodynamic system. In this open thermodynamic system, we are considering there will be the both exchange of the matter and the energy. There will be the exchange of the both matter and the energy, that we can call it as open thermodynamic system. In the closed thermodynamic system, there will be only exchange of the energy, no matter. Only exchange of the energy and no matter, then we can call it as what? Closed thermodynamic system. Matter. Okay. In this matter, there are three different types of the matter, that is solid, liquid and the gases. These are the some definitions we have to study in the thermodynamics. Isolated thermodynamics, it can be stated as here. It cannot exchange both the matter and energy, or there will be no exchange of the matter and the energy. No exchange of the matter and energy, we can call it as isolated thermodynamics. Next, other one is your thermodynamic state. Thermodynamic state can be defined as which exists in the condition. Which exists in the condition, we can call it as thermodynamic state. Which can exist in the thermodynamic state is called as the thermodynamic state. Next, last one we are studying thermodynamic variable. Here thermodynamic variable means it is the composition of the pressure, volume, temperature and so on. We can call it as what? Thermodynamic variable. And again we have to study here one more equation. We know that equation is there. PV is equal to, we are considering nRT. For a perfect gas or the ideal gas, we know that PV is equal to nRT. Okay, where P means what? It is the pressure, V is the volume, R is the universal gas constant, T is the temperature. Thermodynamic process. In this thermodynamic process, we are telling that there will be change in the variables. Change in the variables. Change in the variables. Then we can call it as thermodynamic process. Now in the change in the variable, we are considering temperature, pressure, volume and so on. Now in this case, again we have to study the different types of the process in the thermodynamic process. First one we are telling that isothermal process. In this isothermal process, we are keeping the temperature as a constant term. Temperature should be constant. In the isothermal process, the temperature is a constant. Next, isobaric process. Here we are keeping the pressure as a constant. Pressure as a constant. Next, isochoric process. Here we are keeping the volume as a constant. Volume should be constant. And last one is your adiabatic process. In this adiabatic process, we are keeping heat as a constant. Heat as a constant. These are the different types of the thermodynamic process. All depends upon your thermodynamic process. In the thermodynamic process, we are told that change in the variable. Okay, here. See here. Isothermal, we can keep the constant term as the temperature, and the pressure and the volume goes on changing. In the isobaric process, we are keeping the pressure as a constant term, and the temperature and the volume goes on changing. Isochoric process, we are keeping the volume as a constant term, pressure and the temperature goes on changing. And last one, adiabatic process, heat remains constant, pressure, volume and the temperature goes on changing. Thermal equilibrium can be defined as here. The temperature in all the parts, remain same. equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium is what? Here the temperature in all the parts which remains same has called as the thermal equilibrium.